Hi, how are you today?
Good to see you.
You too. Congratulations on this. How fun.
Thank you. Did I ever tell you that my son's middle name is Archer?
That's a cool middle name.
Cole Archer Pally. Yeah, it's a cool name. Cool kid.
Yeah. Congrats on coming up with that middle name for him. That's awesome.
Thanks. He's actually in episode 3.
Tell me more about that.
He had a small cameo as one of the students that are shocked by some of the things they're seeing, and he was so funny that they featured him like 3 times, and it makes me laugh every time I see it.
I love that. Do you sense that your son will want to follow your path and be a performer, actor as an adult?
Yes, I do, unfortunately, and I've done everything I could to dissuade him, including having not the greatest career, but he still wants to go at it. So yeah, he seems to be talented. So, as soon as he's uh of his own age, then he can do it. But we're not raising child actors. No
Got it.
offense.
Got it. Got it. Well, thank you for that. Well, it's great to see you all in this. I really love it, and I think viewers will as well. And
Thank you, Greg. That's so nice of you.
yeah, well, absolutely. It was very inventive in my eyes. So, and I loved it. The comedy was great. And
Oh, cool.
Stephen Curry has said that we will see a version of Stephen Curry that we haven't even seen before. So, what is that version?
Well, I'll just because we're friends, that version is Stephen Curry.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So,
No, no, no problem. Just as going forward.
yeah.
Uh, um, what you will see of Stefan is a really playful, high, highly functioning, supreme being of an athlete who is probably in the top zillionth percent of hand-eye coordination and intellect, and is able to pick up on pattern and joke and set up within hours, I think.
I love
And truly just a fun person to be around.
I love that. So, how fun is it for you to reconnect with David here? You work together on Happy Endings, which everyone still loves and wants back. Can you
uh,
talk about what is the winning combination between the two of you?
I don't know. I think it's just we love each other, truly, and we love each other's families, and we've grown as people together through like a weird industry. So I think anytime we get to work with each other, it feels like we still feel like like we did on Happy Endings, where we would look around and be like, can you believe they're letting us do this? And we had that same feeling on Champaign Hill, and we had it every day here. And I think that maybe that's the secret sauce. Like, you really have to enjoy the people that you go to work with every day to make the something that's enjoyable.
Right, right. Totally get that. So, how did this all come into being? Can you describe the process of coming on board
Sure.
executive producer?
Very organically, Steph's amazingly talented wife Aisha had a talk show on HBO, about that was like the Newlywed Game kind of, and though we are not newlyweds, my wife and I were on it, and so was David Caspe and his wife Casey Wilson, who's a good friend of mine and a common collaborator of mine. And both me and David and our wives and Aisha, everyone just kind of hit it off in this very playful way. And the next day, their producer called us because I think they knew that we were looking for something to do together again. And they kind of said, "Do you have any ideas for a show?" And we said, "Give us a second." We called the Libman brothers, were kind of like the other part of our extended family who created Champagne Ale and who wrote on Happy Endings, and who, in my opinion, are the two funniest writers in television. And we were like, what do we got? And we brought it to Steph, and then now we're here.
That's so great. So, what is it like working with Stefan and in this endeavor?
It's amazing. I mean, a lot of so much of the show is like kind of true to life in that way. Like, he is an amazing person. He is he operates at a really high frequency, and he gets the best out of himself, and then in turn kind of gets the best out of everybody he's with.
Yeah, you can't really beat that. That's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Um, I know a lot of folks keep asking you about happy endings, and the fabulous Miss Wilson, your co-star,
Yes.
has mentioned, I think, in People magazine that they're trying to revive happy endings. I'm wondering if you can comment on that, and also your podcast you have with her.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the podcast is a natural evolution of our daily relationship. We talk, daily on the hour. I think, again, like one of the fun things about working with David, or some would say it's not fun. I think it's fun, is that it'll be like 11 p.m. and I'll get a text from Casey Wilson that says, "Can you ask my husband what the right code on the garage is?" And in the middle of shooting some big thing, I'll go, "Hey, David, your wife wants to know what the code of the garage is." And he'll scream it back to me and text it. And like, while I'm sure the rest of the crew is annoyed with that, I feel warm about it. It makes me feel like we're all still, doing the same thing we were doing when we were 26. So it's not surprising that people are that we would want to do more of happy endings to get that feeling back. Um, And I feel like the podcast is just, again, like just an extension of people that really like each other, that have grown up together in this business, and are now kind of like, what's next?
And you folks are revisiting each episode. Um,
We actually don't watch each episode, which I
okay.
really like because I don't like watching it.
You have people associated with the series as guest stars.
Yes, we bring people on who are associated, but we don't force a rewatch, mostly because I feel like, um, I just like, I can't stand looking at my baby face. It makes me feel, I'm like, I truly am like, who was that? You know? Um, and then every time I shave, I look exactly like that again. And I'm like, oh.
I love that. So if you've probably been asked this, but I'm curious, like if you were to have your way and there were a iteration of happy endings in the 2020s, what do you see? What would be really fun to see?
I think, so there's so many different fun ways to go. And that's the fun of the show. I look at a show like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is getting better in its like 19th season or whatever. And I think often like, well, it could have been that, because it doesn't matter. It's not about the story, what happens to these people. It's about these people reminding you of yourself and going through the everyday minutia that drives you crazy, and then heightening that. And like, I feel like it's less about where we would have gone, and just more everywhere, you know?
Right, right. I want to ask you one more question about the new series, but I know that you've also worked with Kevin Smith on the 4:30 movie.
Yes, yeah.
What can we expect from something like that?
That was just a dream and a thrill. I mean, a kid from Jersey, Kevin Smith calls, you run to Red Bank. And that's what I did. And I don't want to spoil too much. I mean, there's so many funny people in it. But yeah, I mean, Kevin's a hero of mine, and he gave me a little chance to gnaw at the bone, and I took a big chunk out of it.
I love that. I love that. I'm looking forward to that too. Um,
Yeah, of course, Kevin
so
Smith movie.
yeah, right. What do you feel viewers will be most surprised about coming into this, Mr. Throwback?
Um, I think they'll be surprised at the pace, and the tension, and the fact that you can make comedy like this with these kind of stakes. You look at, people ask me, what's it like? And it's hard to really put it in a box, but I kind of keep going back to things like Uncut Gems, and being like, it's kind of like that, you know, it's like if Uncut Gems was made by Christopher Guest, you know, and and then I hear myself say that, I'm like, well, I'm actually very proud of that.
And it's great. I think people are going to really love it. It's
Oh, thanks, Greg.
yeah, it's wonderful to connect with you, and congrats. I love all your work. It's always fun to see you.
Oh, thank you so much, dude. You too. Take care.